Welcome, dear listeners, to episode 52 of The Empty Rooms of Gorski Manor. I sat upon the velvet couch in the empty room, feeling slightly depleted but contented from the experience with the dark night and the bumblebees. Contentment is all I truly seek. I fell into myself, pondering calmly, for once enjoying the silence. Slowly, sounds of footsteps creeped into my reverie, coming closer and closer from somewhere, only to quickly disappear before I could make any attempt to find them. Maybe for the best, thinking of the dark night. A buzzing caught my attention as a little bumblebee came from the shadows and landed on my nose. It smiled at me. I smiled back at it. It flew to my ear and whispered,
I have a tale to share.
Me, in my contentment, quickly agreed, settling into the softness of the velvet couch.
Read the story.
The bumblebee began. It said through the flow of the cards, one card follows the other, adding to the growing story that long ago dusk, swirling within the winds and snow and fog, deep feelings that tighten one's heart, tighten one's throat, unable to speak from the great swell of hidden emotions, always kept at bay, yet the boundaries so thin, waiting for the moment, the veil wanting too for its time to release the storm it so struggled to contain, sending it out to whomever may care enough to notice, to pause within their life struggle for a moment, to connect and understand, feeling another's cares and sadness and sorrow matched what we each hold on to too tightly, as we each continue our distance trek along the path alone, which would be so much more enjoyable together. The nettle tea steamed warmly in its pot under its warm cozy that flaunted a pentacle proudly upon it, stitched with magic and intention, a powerful pairing by the primordial worn hands of the crone over eons of full moon lights. Her blue lips pursed strongly together with purpose as she set the table for tea. Great expectation twinkled in her dark eye as she awaited one whom she had not seen for many, many cycles of the wind, one whose absence she felt deeply in her heart, an unwanted barrier grown strong over the time spent apart, but sadly needed, like a pouch of leather sewn stitch by stitch to keep the tears at bay. For if unleashed, the coming winter would for certain bring devastation to more than herself. She wrapped her bony old fingers around the warm tea cozy, taking a moment to savor this unusual sensation. For her world is of the cold. The raging fire within the usually cold hearth sent waves of heat that swirled around her cold body, tensing her icy bones. This fire in preparation for her guest, not for her comfort, though she wondered once again why it was that way. The old crone stopped when she heard the clock on the mantel begin to chime. 1, 2, 3, and then silence. It is time, she thought, releasing a cackle she could not contain, a cackle of pleasure for what she hoped would come, which was mirrored in like by her companion crow, who watched from his sycamore perch. She sat upon her chair, facing the closed door, looking to the latch for its anticipated movement. The crone thought to their last meeting, she, eager to be set free, eager to fly only where she desired. Has her time away been spent wisely? Their time away beneficial to them both? One must go where they are wanted, yet where they want to be. Such joy to follow and be found within those endless possibilities.
Down the path on the pine room, the magpie did await, for she knew at the crossroad a choice she must make. There alone she did shiver, black and white in the night. Her eyes touched with amber, stardust and starlight. With the wind on her wings she must go, with grape feather and water. With the beat of her heart on the gale, she is the crone's only daughter. Ooh, ah, fiddly-fi, ooh, ah, fiddly-hi. Ooh, ah, fiddly-fi, she's the crone's only daughter. 'Neath the full moon, there the rabbit and the hare they did play. As the moon dust of the ether on each nose now did stay. With the crown on her wings she does go, with black feather and water. With the world there below she goes, poor magpie is her daughter. Poor magpie is her daughter. Came the magpie to the crossroad, hidden neath clouds snowy gray, as the shadows and the memories carved in wood show her the way. Magic waits on the tips of her wings, light and darkness flow from her. She is the breath that you feel on your cheek, she is the crone's magic daughter. Ooh, ah, fiddly-fi, ooh, ah, fiddly-hi. Ooh, ah, fiddly-fi, she's the crone's only daughter. From the north came the snowfall, there to cover what was the crossroad, mystery waited, the unknown. Time was calling, she to answer for her home. La, la, la. No longer hers. With the pentacle bright on her chest, watching the forest and water, fly she must, so high she does go, for she is the crone's only daughter. Over the meadow, over the stream, over the sycamore tree, she is the one that I wish I could be. She is the crone's only daughter.
Mushrooms of deep red, sprinkled with the lightest circles of white, grew upon the table, in the corners of the room, upon cold window sills and the backs of the surrounding chairs, even on the chair upon which the crone awakened. She lifted her head from the table and rubbed her eye, foggy from her unwonted rest. How long has it been? She could not remember. It must be a span of time from the sight of the many sprouted mushrooms. With an unaccustomed shiver, she looked to the closed door, yet still she could not remember. She reached for the teapot in front of her. She knew it would be ice cold even before she touched it. She looked to the sycamore tree perch. Crow was gone. She looked to the door again, still closed tight. The tiniest of a tear swelled in her one eye, which she brushed away quickly, it turning to ice and falling to shatter upon the table. She had not come, yet some enchantment had been cast. The crone moved to her bed and pulled out a chest waiting there beneath it. As she crouched on the floor, she steadied herself for the onslaught of the gale of ice and snow, soon to come upon its opening. She braced with strength, ready to withstand its burst, for it is of her making. She traced the worn vine wound upon its gnarled wooden cover, it fitting her finger perfectly from the countless times of her use. She whispered the runes, awakening their primordial power. She inhaled a large breath, held onto it tightly, and heard the click of the release and opened the top with just enough strength to stop it from being ripped from its hinges. She looked deep within, waiting for the gale to subside. Quickly, she reached over moor and mountain, path and sea, looking for the amber eyes of she whom she sought. Crone arrived at the wooden crossroads, the ancient place of decisions. So many ways, gateways to choose. Which way did she go? Then Crone saw it, tucked into a crack in the wood. Her heart jumped with hope, with delight. Might it be a message, perhaps? She extended her arm into the box, reaching, stretching, eager across the vastness, all the way through the gale to the crossroad. Gently her bony fingers stretched and touched the feather. A shock of emotions crashed into her heart. Yes, it is her feather. She removed it gently and brought it back safely to her. The box closed with a snap, leaving her alone upon the cold wooden floor. She held and looked to the feather with tenderness. She had left a gift from her daughter Magpie, giving the crone a little something, something of hope, something of what may be someday, what will come. For this was not yet the right time. Both the crone and the magpie are patient. Bumble Bee bowed its head in completion. It tapped my nose with comfort and flew off into the shadows. I fell into myself again, pondering on what I had just listened to for a quiet time. I was slowly pulled from my reverie by the sounds of footsteps again coming down the hall. This time I was ready and reacted quickly. To the door I sprinted and opened it quickly to collide straight into Simon, Feathers, Lester, and Modo. Blessings and hugs, dear listener.
Magic waits on the tips of her wings. Light and darkness flow from her. She is the breath that you feel on your cheek. She is the crone's magic daughter.